Hello. Welcome again to the new program, this program, of Steps Beyond Time. It's a special program today because Reverend Betty Tatalesky is going to talk about Nelson Mandela, I believe.
Yes, I am.
All right.
We want to honor that great man. Hello, friends, and namaste. You know, namaste is that wonderful Indian word that means the God in me greets the God in you, and I do. And Happy New Year. Well, I had a real New Year's gift. It was about 3 weeks ago. You remember when that blessed, sainted man, Nelson Mandela, made his transition into the spirit world? Well, we were all touched in the heart, you know, and saddened to lose him. But on Friday night, the day before he was being buried, and the funeral service the next day, on that Friday night, he came in through our beautiful and gifted Reverend Christine Facchetti, already one of the best spiritual mediums in the country. And every other Friday night she has a beautiful circle, a trance circle, and we can talk to anybody that's ever lived, no matter where or when. And the first person that came through came to speak to me. And he says, "This is Betty, this is Nelson Mandela." He said, "I want to tell you," he's got a sense of humor. He said, "I want to tell you that I don't have to apply for membership in the Temple of Universality because your friend, Reverend Dr. Moon, was the first person that met me when I came over here, which was quite a few days before." And he said, he took me directly to meet Sanat Kumara, who is your sponsor, and you know Saint Germain is our director. But he took me to meet the big guy, he said, Sanat Kumara.
The big guy, that's good.
Now, if you've not heard that word before, read the book of Daniel. In chapters 7 and 8, he's mentioned in there a half a dozen times, called the Ancient of Days. And it's wonderful. Now, a lot of people haven't heard his name or about him, but thankfully, Daniel knew him. So I figure if you're going to be in with a bunch of hungry lions, you couldn't pick a better person to be in there with you than the Ancient of Days, often called the Lord of the World, and also the sponsor of the Temple of Universality. So he starts talking, and I am thrilled to my toes, of course. And he said, "Yes, Dr. Moon took me there, and he brought me here tonight." And he said, "You know, we have been friends for a long time." He said, "We walked a similar path. We both spent many years in prison for trying to help people," and which is so true. So I want to read something that he reminded me of last night, because I knew that I wanted to talk about him and in gratitude for his coming to talk to me and the group, okay? He says, Reverend Dr. Moon and I have been good friends for many years. We had so much in common. And he says, now, Dr. Moon works constantly on MEPI, the Middle East Peace Initiative that I've talked about many times here, and that is, just as it says, It's a peace effort for the Middle East, and I've been there 31 times now, 31 conferences, thanks to Dr. Moon. And the unification of North and South Korea also, and been there. I love North Korea, and they're like everybody else. They would like peace. They would like some interest here, and as you know, on the well over 100 countries I've been in, I've seen the same thing. People just want to live in peace, but they like a little appreciation, you know, a little conversation, and so anyway, that's how I see people. There are many humanitarians and world leaders who work with Reverend Moon, he said, over here, and on that Middle East Peace Initiative. They include the many that you talk with a lot, including Anwar Sadat, Itzhak Rabin, Yasser Arafat, Mahatma Gandhi, and he kept listing them. Golda Meir, Mother Teresa, John Kennedy, George Washington Carver, that great man who saved the South with his peanuts and peanut butter, right, which we love, and many United Nations leaders who have made transition, and he says more are joining every day. He says, your President Lincoln leads that group of American presidents that have talked to your group over the years, like your longtime friend, Dr. Martin Luther King. This new year, 2014, is, as you tell the people, a year of spirit. If you add it up, that's what you get. It's a 7, and 7 is the number of spirit. An opportunity for people to work in alignment with us on this side. What a blessing to talk with this great man who sacrificed his life and led his life, as Dr. Moon did, by living for the sake of others. When I heard that mantra, you know, 35 years ago, and I heard Reverend Moon speak of this, living for the sake of others, when he invited and hosted 20,000 ministers from around America. It's a large number. You wonder why so many people went, and you heard so much little about it later, when it was an all expense paid for 2 weeks at the Great Walker Hill there in Seoul. And I could see and know and feel the beauty of the man, okay? Many of the ministers said, we're waiting for the shoe to fall, okay? We're waiting to see who this man really is, because nobody is this good. And you don't get a multi-$1,000 vacation here at the Walker Hill for nothing. Well, it is amazing to me where people make their judgments. It seems like a lot of people make their judgments from their stomach, don't they? And they say, oh, I can't stomach this. But you know what? It seems if you're making your judgments from your heart, you can connect with the heart of people. Yeah. And I'll tell you, friends, after this 36 years, my heart has always held the greatest esteem for Dr. Moon, his family, and for the hundreds of thousands of his ministers, his people around the world who are living for the sake of others, okay? Now,